Hello, world changers. It's time to rest. Let's get cozy as we read our comfort bedtime story. Tonight's story is Daniel and the power of his voice. Daniel woke up with his heart racing and the most amazing dream still dancing in his mind. In the dream, he had been standing before hundreds of people, children and grown-ups, all listening carefully as he told them the most wonderful things about God's creation. His words had flowed like music, and everyone had smiled and nodded, hanging on every word. As Daniel sat up in his real bed, rubbing his eyes in the morning sunlight, he remembered how different his actual voice was. In real life, his words came slowly, like gentle birds that needed extra time before taking flight. That was just a dream, he whispered to himself. That could never really happen. But as he spoke those words, something strange happened. A gentle voice, so quiet he almost missed it, seemed to whisper back, "Daniel." Daniel looked around his empty room. "Hello? Mom? Dad? Is that you?" Silence. He shook his head. I must still be really sleepy from that dream. Downstairs at breakfast, Daniel's mom and dad saw that he was in deep thoughts about something. "You look like you have something on your mind, Daniel," his dad said, pouring orange juice. "I had the most amazing dream," Daniel began, then paused. Sometimes sharing his thoughts felt scary, even with his mom and dad, who loved him so much. His mom sat down beside him. "Tell us about it, sweetheart. We love hearing about your dreams." Daniel's face lit up. I was speaking to lots of people, and my words came out perfectly, and everyone was listening to hear about God's beautiful creations. "That sounds like a wonderful dream," his dad smiled. "You know, Daniel, God sometimes speaks to us through dreams." "Really?" Daniel's eye grew wide. "Really?" his mom nodded. "Maybe God was showing you something special about the voice he gave you." As Daniel walked to school that morning, he couldn't stop thinking about the dream and the mysterious whisper. Something felt different about this day, like an adventure was going to happen. At school, Daniel loved learning about everything God had created, especially the planets spinning in perfect order and the dinosaurs that once roamed the earth. He knew that Jupiter was so big that it showed God's great power. That day, Miss Peterson had held up a picture of the solar system. "Who can tell me Which planet is the biggest? Daniel's hand shot straight up, remembering his dream. Maybe today would be different. His face lit up as he thought about God's amazing creation. Daniel began picturing the giant planet that showed God's creativity. But before he could finish his sentence, Marcus called out, "Jupiter." "That's right, Marcus." Miss Peterson smiled. Daniel's hand slowly came down. The excitement from his dream began to fade. All the wonderful things he wanted to share about how God made Jupiter stayed quiet in his heart. After class, Sarah walked beside him in the hallway. "I wanted to hear what you were going to say about Jupiter," she said kindly. "You always notice the coolest things about what we're learning." Daniel smiled a little, but something small and uncomfortable had started growing in his chest, like a teeny shadow trying to block out the sunshine from his dream. The tiny shadow grew a little each day. When Daniel raised his hand in math class and had trouble saying 17, some of the kids giggled softly. When he wanted to talk with his friends at lunch about the weekend, his words came slowly, while others spoke so fast and moved on to other topics. Daniel started noticing things he hadn't before. How people sometimes looked away when he spoke. How other kids could easily speak words, but he needed so much time to speak out his own. Maybe that dream was just a silly dream, he thought one afternoon, watching the other kids chat so easily at recess. Maybe I'm not meant to speak to lots of people. Each time Daniel chose silence over speaking, the shadow in his heart grew a little darker. And with the growing shadow came mean whispers, not from other people, but he felt it from within. It whispered, "That dream was just pretend, but this is your real life. You are just slowing everyone down. It would just be easier to stay quiet forever." Daniel found himself speaking less and less at dinner, answering his mom and dad with just a head nod. Instead of stories he used to love sharing, his happy thoughts about God's creation stayed locked inside like birds that had forgotten how to sing. His mom and dad noticed the change right away. His mom saw how Daniel's shoulder drooped when he came home from school. His dad heard the house grow quieter, missing Daniel's joyful chatter about the cool things he discovered each day. One night, Daniel sat by his bedroom window, watching the stars God had put in the sky like bright jewels on dark cloth. But even their beauty felt far away now, and his dream seemed more impossible than ever. The mean whisper grew stronger. "Do you see? You were silly to believe that dream. Just believe to remain silent. Stop trying so hard. Dreams don't come true for people like you. Give up." As these thoughts filled Daniel's mind, something strange began to happen to his room. The cheerful blue walls seemed to fade to gray, like color was slowly going away. The shadows in the corner grew longer, reaching across the floor like grabbing fingers. "Come with us," the mean whisper said. "Here, in this gray space, you can be quiet and silence forever. Here, you can't disappoint anyone. Here, your silly dreams won't hurt you anymore." The gray space felt safe, like sinking into a soft, quiet place where he no longer had to try and nothing could hurt him. Daniel felt himself settling deeper into the dark, quiet space where his voice didn't matter and impossible dreams couldn't make him sad. Downstairs, Daniel's mom was washing dishes when something gently began tugging at her heart, like someone was trying to tell her something important. But every time she almost understood the message, it felt like a cloud, a dark cloud, was trying to block it out. She paused, soap bubbles still on her hands, and closed her eyes. "Lord, what are you trying to show me?" Suddenly, she could see it. Her Daniel sitting in a room that looked gray and sad, very different from his cheerful bedroom. Something was whispering lies to her precious boy, trying to steal the beautiful dream God had given him. "Honey," she called her husband, "come quickly, I can see Daniel, and he needs our help." Her husband hurried into the kitchen, and they stood together holding hands. Something is trying to make Daniel believe his dream was fake, that his voice doesn't matter. "We need to pray right now." Together they closed their eyes and called out to the King. "King of the castle of light," his dad said firmly, "you are stronger than any darkness. Fight for our Daniel and the dreams that you have given him." "Lord Jesus," his mother prayed, "break through those lies and show Daniel the truth about what you want to do with his voice." Their prayers rose up like light, pushing away the dark clouds. In the dark bedroom, Daniel sat quietly in the shadows, his dream feeling more impossible than ever. But suddenly, crack! Brilliant light split through the darkness. Through the light stepped the King of the castle of light. His purple robe shimmered with silver stars, his crown glowing with heaven's love. Daniel gasped. He knew this gentle voice. That was the gentle voice that called his name in the morning. The king pointed to the shadow and said firmly,
"You do not belong here."
"Shadows, you don't belong here." And they scattered like leaves in the wind. The king turned to Daniel with the kindest voice, full of warmth and love. He knelt beside Daniel, making himself small, so Daniel wouldn't be afraid. "My precious child," the king said gently, "what are you doing in this sad gray space?" Daniel looked up, his heart beating fast because he knew who this was. "You are the gentle voice that called my name in the morning, but I They said my dream was just pretend, that I should stop trying and give up. The king's face filled with understanding. And you believe those lies about the dream I gave you? Daniel's eyes widened. You gave me that dream? The king smiled with the most beautiful, warm smile. I did, my precious child. I wanted to show you what I see when you speak. Not someone broken, but someone brave. Not someone who should stay quiet, but someone I want to use to help others with words. But it hurts when people seem annoyed that my words are slow. Daniel, do you know what I hear when you speak? Daniel shook his head. I hear courage. Every time you choose to share your thoughts, even when it's hard, you are being very brave.
Your sadness will turn to understanding as your purpose is revealed.
Daniel, your purpose is unique, a light for others, a beacon of hope in the world. You were made for this.
Your voice isn't broken. It's exactly as I made it. That dream I gave you, it wasn't pretend. It was me showing you what I want to do through you. But some people are so mean to me. Yes, some will be mean. But others, like your mom and dad, who love every word, like Sarah, who waits to hear your thoughts, like all the people in your dream, they know what a gift you are. Don't let a few impatient and mean people stop you from using the voice that many need to hear. The king stood and offered his hand. Will you leave this place of lies? Will you trust me with your words and your dreams again? Daniel looked at the king's outstretched hand, then back at the gray shadows. Will you really help me make this dream come true? Daniel whispered. I will, the king promised. His eyes twinkled. I will be with you every time you speak. And Daniel, that dream was just the beginning of what I want to do with your voice. You are chosen. You are loved. You are my world changer. Daniel reached up and took the king's hand. The moment they touched, light flooded everything. The gray walls disappeared like morning mist, and Daniel was back in his real room, bright and colorful and full of hope again. His mom and dad rushed in and wrapped him in the biggest, warmest hug. Mom, Dad, Daniel said, his voice clear and happy. It was him. The king came. He's the one who gave me the dream. And he said it's going to come true. His mom and dad held him close, tears of joy on their faces. We prayed for you, sweetheart, his mom whispered. God heard us, and he is not done with your story yet. That night, Daniel snuggled into his cozy bed, his heart full of hope and wonder. In his heart, he felt the king's loving voice. My precious child, your words will touch hearts and help others believe in their own dreams. Above, the stars winked, almost like they were saying, rest now, precious child. Tomorrow, speak with my light. And now, let's take our bedtime prayer. Dear Jesus, thank you for breaking my chains. When hurtful words try to stick to me, remind me that your love is stronger. I am chosen, I am loved, and I am your world changer. Amen.